Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. We're coming to the end of the first week of Guilds of Ravnica previews. We've already seen a lot, but there's still so much more to come. Today we're looking at a new Guildmaster card or two, one of the most adorable beasts ever, and a lot more. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, remember to hit that like button. Seriously, it's the little thumbs up. I believe in you, it helps a lot. So let's just, let's do this thing. Venerated Loxodon is 5 mana for a 4/4 Elephant Cleric with Convoke. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that convoked it. Oh my, alright. We haven't seen a lot of Selesnya just yet, but this card is loud and strong. 5 mana for a 4/4 that can be convoked is actually limited playable by itself. But the Loxodon is so much more than that. It anthems whatever convoked it. It anthems them all. Do you realize how powerful that is? That's you potentially spending 0 mana for 9 total power and toughness. Think about that. That's insane. If you can convoke the entire thing, each of those probable 1/1s become 2/2s, and you get a 4/4. The only downside is you have to take a turn off from attacking. But I mean, you just brought in 9 power for potentially 0 mana, so I'll take it. Venerated Loxodon is very good, definitely standard playable as a top end to any token strategy, and helps to ensure against chain roll or blowouts. I'm impressed with this card, it's very nice. Omnispell Adept is 5 mana for a 3/4 human wizard. You can pay 3 mana and tap it, and you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost. What? This is like Elvish Piper, but for spells, and because it's one ability, you get to cast sorceries whenever you want. Omnispell Adept is so gross. Let's talk about some cards this goes with. Nexus of Fate, Enter the Infinite, Expropriate Bribery, Animatos, Augury, Blatant Thievery. You get the picture. This card's insane. And for those confused about timing restrictions, this card says, quote, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost. It doesn't give you a time window, so you can cast it right now, go nuts, live whatever dream you like. This card is stupid. So is Apex of Power. Guess I'll add that to the list. Great, wonderful, super, deck tech incoming. Blood Operative is 1 of anything and 2 black for a 3/1 vampire assassin with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target card from a graveyard. Whenever you surveil, if the operative is in your graveyard, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return the operative to your hand. What interesting design we have here. 3 mana for a 3/1 with lifelink is actually fine. Lifelink is strong. The enter the battlefield trigger is a graveyard hate trigger, so Golgari and Dimir will be displeased, which is funny considering this card is Dimir, but in a weird way. That kind of makes sense. Anyways, the second trigger is what I like the most. Whenever you surveil, which means this 3/1 lifelinker can swing in as much as you want, gaining life, going to the yard, then coming back again and again. It's not like the operative is hard on your mana. He's not. A disruptive assassin who wanders around messing with graveyards and gaining life, I'll take it. Understand why it's rare. It can get out of hand and limited with enough surveil support. Dimir is looking pretty nice. Ritual of Soot is 2 of anything and 2 black for a sorcery, destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less. I love seeing 4 mana board wipes, I love it so much. What an answer to tokens or Boros aggro, just wow. This is the second coming of Consume the Meek, and I'm okay with that. It's a solid control card. This is going to make the lives of control mages so much easier. It will force token and aggro players to rethink themselves after game 1 in Standard, which is where this will definitely see play. I'm starting to feel okay about a mid-range control deck in Standard now. Something must be wrong with me. I never feel safe playing control decks. We're gonna get a stupid aggro card, aren't we? Dang it, well, great board wipe anyways. Affectionate Indrik is 6 mana for a 4/4 beast. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. Yes, card's good. 6 mana for a 4/4 beast that comes with removal. It's very good, I love it. Whatever. The reason we're talking about this card though, that artwork, look at it. Oh my goodness, look how cute it is. And it has little cats around its feet. I just can't, it's so cute. Oh, Steve Prescott, you scamp. Cutest art in the set so far. It's just freaking adorable. Crackling Drake is double blue and double red for a 4 toughness Drake with flying. Its power is equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Incredibly interesting card. Its power is equal to the number of total spells in exile and your graveyard. Definitely a nod to Jumpstart here. The casting cost is a bit clunky, but the increase from something like Enigma Drake exists due to that cantrip and the extended power nod. Here's my issues. I don't know if it's worth that increase. Instead of being 3 mana, one of which is generic, this costs double blue and double red, a net increase of 1, and more color intensity. This would be in a fast spell slinging deck. We've seen those decks before. They're like Counterburn with a few quality creatures. Crackling Drake might just be too expensive. 3 mana was always my cutoff for these strategies. We'll see what else is in this set, and I'll probably try to build something around this, but wow, 4 color specific mana and is it Counterburn it's asking a lot. Connive is 2 of anything and double hybrid blue and black mana for a sorcery. Gain control of target creature with power 2 or less. Concoct is 3 of anything, 1 blue and 1 black for a sorcery. Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, let's go 1 spell at a time. First, Connive. I had a feeling we'd start seeing steal spells out of the Dimir, totally in flavor for them. This one is a bit expensive and is sorcery speed, which is unfortunate, but you do get to steal something. This is made for a slower deck that needs to stem bleeding or needs to grab something important. In Commander, this will be a true nightmare to deal with. There is so many creatures with power 2 or less worth grabbing. Now Concoct, this thing's true stupidity. Insane reanimation spell. You fill your graveyard and get to bring anything back. No enchant creature aura, just a nice spell that lets you get something. What's interesting about this is that it can grab the likes of Emrakul. It's a single spell. The spell resolves entirely before Emrakul is shuffled back in. It's a trigger after all, so you get to concoct an Emrakul. Let the deck building begin. Knight of Autumn is 1 of anything, 1 green and 1 white for a 2/1 Dryad Knight. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Put 2+1/+1 counters on it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 4 life. What? Sure, this is like 2 sideboard cards in 1 for Modern. This card is very good. It answers a lot of questions on a single card. You side this in against Mono Red and gain 4 life. That's basically like Kitchen Finks. You side it in against anything with robots, Bogles, Blood Moon. Just Knight of Autumn is a Modern card as far as I'm concerned. We keep talking about the power of flexibility, and this is what we're talking about. In a format where sideboard slots mean everything, Knight of Autumn is Naturalize and Kitchen Finks in 1 card. Just saying, the thing's crazy good. If you're in these colors in Modern, I'd consider picking a few of these up. Don't underestimate consolidating sideboard slots. Trostani Discordant is 3 of anything, 1 green and 1 white for a 1/4 legendary creature Dryad. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. When Trostani enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white soldier tokens with lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, each player gains control of all creatures they own. Alright, we need to break this down. 5 mana for a 1/4 is usually real bad, but this one comes with 2 1/1s that are actually 2/2s and they have lifelink. So really, you're paying 5 mana for 5 total power and 8 toughness doesn't seem so bad then. In addition, Trostani is a Convoke monster, bringing in workers for that, along with buffing every other creature you have on the battlefield forever. Up to this point, a solid card. Now that last trigger. At the beginning of your end step, each player gains control of all creatures they own. This is purely in response to what Standard is about to be like. Nicol Bolas is causing some shenanigans. We're going to see cards that try and steal creatures. We already have Hostage Taker to deal with. We just saw Connive. Look, I know the card may seem underwhelming or a bit weird, but this is a very good Trostani. Just try to remember that it comes with 5 power and 8 toughness by itself, anthems your entire team, and brings some lifelink along for the ride. All of this while also helping you keep control of your team. It's not so bad. Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, is 2 of anything, 1 red and 1 white for a 2/5 legendary angel with flying and mentor. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature gets +2/+0, gains trample if it's red, and gains vigilance if it's white. Aurelia came to play. 4 mana for a 2/5 with flying and mentor is already pretty nice, but that combat trigger is actually quite strong since she can target herself with it, which means at the very least, she's a 4/5 flyer with trample and vigilance in combat. Now, I do think the best part about this card is that it can totally fit into standard decks. It's only 4 mana. This means you can play this alongside Lyra Dawnbringer and really bring the pain. Who knew giving angels lifelink would be strong? Crazy, right? Aurelia is a solid Guildmaster card, definitely being pushed for standard. This is just simply a strong card. Expect to see this in Constructed, yeah. Legion Guild Mage is 1 red and 1 white for a 2/2 human wizard. You can pay 6, tap it, and it deals 3 damage to each opponent. You can also pay 3, tap it, and tap another target creature. Now, the increased cost on that tap ability is there because of the versatility of the card. You have to pay a tax for that flexibility. But besides that, card's okay. The first ability is a bit aggressive in a commander game. Bolt everyone over and over again, that's kind of brutal. In limited, it'll also be a fine game ender. When you and your opponent have nothing left to do, the Guild Mage gets to smack them every single turn, puts them on a clock and forces their hand in some way, giving you control over the game. It's exactly what you want to do with a card like this. It's a fine Guild Mage. Glowspore Shaman is 1 black and 1 green for a 3/1 elf shaman. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. You may put a land card from your graveyard on top of your library. Yes, if you've been paying attention to the cards Golgari's getting, you know that this is the perfect undergrowth and graveyard enabler. It comes down early, it lets you fill your yard, and you don't even have to top deck anything if you don't want to. Most of the time, you actually won't. This is 2 mana to enable undergrowth and attack in with a strong 3-power creature, or hold back and trade with something much larger than it. Solid and limited, and maybe even standard with the rate we're getting good Golgari cards. Might not look like much, but it's a piece of the puzzle. It's nice. Alkran Assassin is 1 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for a 1/1 elf assassin with Death Touch. All creatures able to block the assassin do so. Alright, before we get into this card, I feel like we have a bit of a flavor mishap. Assassins don't draw the aggro of everyone around them, they sneak around and murder. This assassin, for some reason, decides that sneaking around is bad and just yells at everyone to come at her. This feels wrong. Anyways, the card's brutal. With even a small pump spell, the assassin can wipe entire teams, give it first strike or trample. Oof, super brutal. It's an interesting card that will be a sweet removal spell in limited, but with some build around and setup will also be pretty troll in a format like Commander. I like, except for, the flavor thing. With each day that passes, I feel like we're getting better and better cards. Today we got to see a lot of Boros and Selesnya goodness, while also still feeling the Dimir's presence. What are you thinking about all of this? Do you think that Selesnya and Boros have stepped up enough to be as powerful as Izzet, Golgari, or Dimir? I'm really interested in the power dynamics here, so please let me know what you're thinking. Also, stay tuned to the channel for more guild coverage, as that will be coming at you left, right, and center. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Guilds of Ravnica booster boxes are $91 each right now. I shouldn't have to push this for you. It's a fair price from a reputable marketplace. It's like eBay, but honest. Look, if you don't have a local game store or yours charges way too much, click the link on the screen. You can order however many boxes you want for $91 each, and they'll show up at your door as soon as the set's released. It's like magic. It's crazy. Click it, helps the channel. You get cheap cards. It's amazing. Enjoy.
What?